Honestly, it's a tragedy that you watched it that way. And I honestly lose a little bit of respect for you because I thought that you would have the knowledge to not watch like a Netflix dub. Drive-by movies, you're watching
Fresh releases.
My name is Blaze.
And my name is James.
And this week, we're talking the brand new film to Netflix, Big Bug.
Big Bug is the long-awaited directorial film from Jean Pierre Jeunets. It's been, almost a decade since his last movie, and this one's about humans that have ceded most tasks to AIs in 2045, even in nostalgic Alice's home. So when robots stage a coup, her androids protectively lock her doors. This is a movie that I had not heard of or was not advertised to me at all. This is one of their movies. I'm not sure if they funded the movie, but they have the rights to it. They are the ones that have the exclusive streaming deal. And crazy that Jean Pierre, his last movie came out in 2013, I believe. So like I said, nearly a decade. And Blaze, what are your thoughts on his comeback?
It's funny because honestly, I hadn't seen his last, 3 movies. Like, honestly, I haven't seen his last 3 movies. He's probably one of my favorite directors because honestly, he was like a huge part of like my just cinematic journey. I just absolutely loved Amelie. Like, I went back and watched all his like previous films. Absolutely loved Delicatessen, City of Lost Children, pretty much all his movies. And then he kind of like after had somewhat of a slump. I think the last film I watched from him was Micmacs, which I enjoy, but not as much. It seemed a little bit samey compared to Amelie and some of the other films. Also, Very Long Engagement, which I enjoyed. But this film, honestly, felt like a return to form for him. I know a lot of people have been going kind of saying that they didn't enjoy this film. That's kind of like torture. That's what I've heard. I don't know why. I was like, I actually enjoyed it because it's only been a decade since we've last seen a film from him. So I like that this film is absolutely insane, insanely weird, insanely French. I enjoyed this movie. How about yourself?
I can't say that I liked it. This movie was just a little too weird for me. However, I was enthralled. I was at the edge of my seat like the whole movie, just because I was like, what is happening? What is going on? It was like I was watching all right, well, granted, I watched it a very different way that I assume is very different from how you watched it. I was like, I had some tasks to do. I had a little Super Bowl party. I had some cleaning to do. So I wanted to double task and watch it. But obviously, I don't understand French. So I had to skip the movie with the original French language and subtitles. And I watched it with the English dub. But you would think that would make me be able to do my sidetrack stuff and lose focus. No, I was just like, wow, the dubbing on this is terrible. And I couldn't look away just because the facial expressions of every character, especially this villain robot that kind of walks in, is horrifying. And I was just like, I could not understand where the movie was going to go, honestly. And overall, like I said, it's not really a movie I like. I can't say I didn't enjoy it. It's just wasn't really for me. I can't necessarily say, I guess I just can't really say I liked it overall, but I was thoroughly entertained and just was kind of tripped out. It was funny and comedic, but at times I was just like, is it because the acting's kind of bad or is it because the dubbing I'm listening to is horrific? I don't know. There's a lot going on with it, but it was quite an interesting watch though.
I can assure you that the dubbing was horrendous because I watched this, basically I watched this on one screen and then I moved to another room. So I watched it on another screen. And for some reason, when I resumed it in the other room, it turned the dub on. And I was like, I was just watching it in French with subtitles. And then it turned the dub on, even though I was still watching with subtitles, the dub was on. I was like, oh, what the hell? They're speaking English. The dubbing was absolutely horrendous. Honestly, it's a tragedy that you watched it that way. And I honestly lose a little bit of respect for you because I thought that you would have the knowledge to not watch a Netflix dub. Like the Netflix dubs are just rushed to production. They're absolutely horrible. So
I haven't tried any of the dubs before. I mean, I know some people say animes are okay with the English dubs, but depends on the anime at least. But last thing I watched with dubs was Squid Game. I'm only 3 episodes in, and I'm enjoying that. But
it started.
Oh no, sorry. Not with dubs. Sorry, not with dubs. Sorry, with in the original Korean language with English subtitles. That's how I'm watching it. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. My bad. Yeah.
That's like a major faux pas. Like if you talk to anyone that watched Squid Game with the dub, just stop talking. Like there's no reason to ever engage with that person ever again. Just end, like if you had a friendship going on, just end it now. Or if you had a relationship, just end that shit. Because if you engage with anyone that watched Squid Game, I'm not saying that like the subs are even good, because there's a lot of complaints about Squid Game subs being bad and not very good. Yeah. But I mean, if that's all you got and you don't speak Korean, that's all you got. But if you're watching the dubs, like that's honestly like a crime against humanity.
Yeah. Good to know. And like, I mean, honestly, I can't really say I've ever seen a good dub. There's people who are big advocates for saying, oh, the dub's really good. I remember the first time I ever saw Akira, someone told me like, no, this dub is really good. Then there's apparently specific Dragon Ball Z voice actors that are really good, but just I've never gotten into it. I hate watching the Godzilla movies with the English dub. As a kid, that was all that was available for me on the VHS tapes. But over time, I've gotten the chance to see the original Japanese versions with subtitles, and they're thoroughly a lot more enjoying and stuff, and don't feel as over the top cheesy. Like, of course, there is that cheesiness thrown in the 70s era of Godzilla movies, but a lot of them feel a lot more serious and legit with the original language and stuff. And so normally it is a thing I do, but like I said, I just made a bad decision. It just further proves that it's never going to be good with English dubs. That's just not the way to watch any movie, but it kind of made it just like a fun, weird experience. I felt high watching this movie, even though there wasn't any weed like involved with my watching experience.
Well, I mean, to be honest, the movie is very insane. Like I said, like this movie is just very crazy, and that's something that I enjoy about Jeunet. Is like he could be very dark, and I felt like he lost that kind of in the later, half of his career. Was like a lot of his films kind of like came away from like the darkness that they were in like films like Delicatessen or City of Lost Children. But I felt like this film was honestly a return to form. If this film felt so dark, it's obviously a huge it's basically talking about like COVID lockdowns in France, essentially. Like this film is clearly alluding to that, but also at the same time alluding to and speaking about like our constant need to upgrade our technology. I mean, how often do you have an iPhone and you just like it works fine and you're like, no, I want the new one? And some people hold on to their iPhones like every 4 to 5 years, but now that like most phone companies here in the US like kind of got rid of the whole like upgrade thing, like you usually get like an upgrade every like 2 or 3 years, and that's kind of done. Now it's like, oh, upgrade whenever you want, you're just gonna pay as you go. So now people just upgrade their phones whenever they want. I mean, even Apple has their own upgrade plan of like every year you just pick up the brand new phone and you just throw your fucking phone out and throw it at someone and hope you hit him in the head or some shit. But I just felt like I love the aspect that this family has. I mean, the family is like kind of like a very interesting family, which I also love that because all of Jeunet's movies is always usually about bands of misfits. And it's just like seems like every movie is about misfits either finding each other and finding a sense of family. And this definitely has that aspect, which he's always, had, and something that I loved, of course. But I felt like this film, it was fun having these misfit like toys. Basically, it had like elements of like Toy Story almost, where these like old electronics that this woman's kept around. Her old husband's like, why'd you keep these ones around? You didn't get the new model, but like they also just all they want to do is become human. So it's just like, I don't know, there's just fun aspects, but this film is very much keeping you on your toes at all times. So that's something that I really enjoyed as well.
Especially when the villain comes in, like that's definitely guess like kind of what gave the movie a second wind for me, because it was very unexpected what direction it was going to go in and stuff, and where I started to fear for all the robots who wanted to be humans so bad and everything. And just like, and also the makeup, also the CGI in this movie is really well done. Of course, it mainly has just one location, but they did a great job with making it feel futuristic but not feel unrealistic, I'd say. Like, I don't know if all that will be ready in 20 years from now per se, or I think it's 2045, so that'd be 23 years from now. Highly doubt all that's going to be there, but like, it doesn't feel like out of reach for us though, what we saw in this movie. And I liked the idea of like kind of, I felt like that villain robot though was very heavily based upon RoboCop, and like looks so much like Peter Weller and stuff, and just like the movements and look, and then of course of him like working for the government too as well. But such an interesting plot, and then the torture devices he starts to use on them and stuff, it got pretty horrifying at times.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a little bit of just Jeunet's storytelling always has dark elements to it. I don't think this goes as dark as obviously some of his previous movies, but I think it goes darker than some of the last couple movies that he made before he kind of went on hiatus for apparently 9 years. But I enjoyed this movie for the most part. I thought it was really fun. Like, it's definitely something, like you said before, it wasn't something that I was expecting. Netflix kind of just dumped this movie, and I guess that's the saddest part here, is really like Netflix has just dumped this movie. I don't know if like it's ever even gonna appear on anyone's queues. I know it's very French, but that's like all Jeunet stuff. Like it's very weird as well. So it's not just entirely just French. It's just also very strange and bizarre, and that's kind of why I like it. It's just he has such a voice that who else would have made this if it wasn't him? And I think sometimes that's what I enjoy most about auteurs. Yeah. Like their thing is entirely their own. Like something like Tarantino, like you couldn't really see anyone else directing one of his movies. It's just not going to happen. Even Paul Thomas Anderson on a good day isn't going to do that. But yeah, something else I really enjoyed about this movie was just the fact that it kind of boiled like film. I always feel like filmmakers, when they can boil down like storytelling to its bare roots of like, what if it all takes place in one location? Yeah. Sometimes it's hit or miss. You saw him do it in Hateful Eight, and then in this you see Jeunet kind of do it like where it's all in one location, you're locked in one location. It also works with the theme of like being about a lockdown, but it was cool to see him kind of take his own stab at a one location movie, especially somebody like him who could get a budget that you can get multiple locations. It's fun to see that, where you have filmmakers who literally can only get one location, but you see some filmmakers that can get a budget force themselves into constraints of only being in one location. So I like that about it. Yeah, interesting take. And like I wonder if this will ever have that opportunity to kind of be transitioned or like transcribed into a teleplay or like a play for a show, because it's definitely doable. It might be like a little rough, but with the proper visual eye for someone, like I could see that working out and stuff. Like I do like that aspect of it feeling like it's a stage play almost when it's in one location. Like it works in its favor. And with all the colorful characters within this movie, it'd definitely be like a stage actor's dream, I feel like, especially for all those high school thespians I have grown up knowing and stuff. Like I remember just all of them were larger than life people walking around the hallways and stuff, and I can imagine them like really like eating up a character like from like one of these. Yeah, most definitely. I think like that's the fun thing about a lot of his movies. You get characters with just huge characteristics. So it's cool to see also with a lot of his movies, you have characters return, or character actors return to play characters in his film, because there's a couple in this film, not as many as previous films, which I actually like to see that he went out and found a lot of new actors maybe to join, his kind of collective troupe. But you do see a couple usual suspects essentially return. I think there's the woman that sells cigarettes in Amelie, and then also her kind of crush from that movie, who is in all of that guy. I forget his name, and honestly, if I did even remember it, I probably couldn't pronounce it, so I'll just leave it at that. But he's even in Alien Resurrection, the famous Alien Resurrection, as that guy who is like in the wheelchair. And I remember. Honestly, like one of the coolest characters of Alien Resurrection, maybe even in the Alien franchise, besides Ripley, of course.
Yeah, I'd say that movie, even though it's like, I wouldn't say it's the worst of the franchise too, but like, it's definitely it's got a lot of unnecessary hate. I highly recommend people check it out. Like, it was just a movie that was just a little too bizarre for its time, I'd say, and came out just a little too ahead of its time too. But yeah, hashtag it, Alien Resurrection is misunderstood.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on? It's bad though. I gotta cut you off. Alien Resurrection's bad. Don't go.
It's still bad.
Rewatch. It's fucking horrible.
Funny how we're on opposite positions on this movie, but opposite positions on Alien Resurrection. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this interesting Netflix original Big Bug? Be sure to let us know in the comments down below. Check it out and let us know your thoughts on the movie.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all our latest updates.
And be sure to check us out all on social media in our description box below. We got our links to Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So catch our links down below, down there. Anyways, guys, that'll conclude this week's episode. Tune in next week for a brand new video.